I'm always anxious, always worried, always replaying what happened and what could have happened and what might still happen. That's just who I am. Spoony carries guilt. Knifey is pragmatic. Me? I'm scared, constantly. Because I know how fast everything can go wrong. How one mistake can ruin everything. I'm Spike, item number 15. You heard my first confession. La Bella Vita restaurant. 8 deaths. Listeria. Microscopic crack in my third tine. A catastrophe. But before that, there was another restaurant. Another contamination. And this time, nobody died. But I ruined the happiest day of someone's life, and I've been replaying it ever since. Check right now if you're subscribed to Spoony and Friends. Season 2. We're back. Write in the comments if you've ever ruined something important, because I can't stop thinking about what I took from her. May 2021. 2 years before La Bella Vita. Before the 8 deaths. Before the microscopic crack became visible. I was in a catering kitchen. Wedding catering. Bella Vita catering. Mid-sized company. They did corporate events, parties, weddings. 50 to 300 people. Professional but not elite. Good food, reasonable prices, reliable. They'd been in business for 15 years, no major incidents. A few complaints about cold food or late delivery. Normal stuff, nothing serious. Until me. The wedding was scheduled for May 15th, 2021. Saturday, outdoor venue. Vineyard in Napa Valley. Beautiful, expensive. The bride's dream wedding. Her name was Sarah Mitchell, age 28, marketing director. She'd been planning this wedding for 18 months. Every detail perfect. Flowers, music, photography, dress, venue, and most importantly, food. Sarah was a foodie. She cared about the meal, tasting menus, vendor meetings, recipe adjustments. She wanted her guests to remember this food, to talk about it, to say that was the best wedding food I've ever had. She hired Bella Vita because they promised customization, special dietary accommodations. Her fiancé Michael had severe shellfish allergies, anaphylactic, life-threatening. Sarah made this crystal clear. No shellfish, anywhere. Not in the kitchen, not in the prep area. Complete separation. The caterer said absolutely. We understand. We have protocols. Allergen-free zones. Separate utensils. Color-coded equipment. We've done this hundreds of times. Trust us. I was part of the allergen-free set. Stainless steel dinner forks, color-coded green. Green meant safe, no cross-contamination. Never touched shellfish, never would. I was in a sealed container, labeled. Allergen-free, green set, no shellfish contact. Clear instructions, foolproof. Except humans aren't foolproof. And I had that microscopic crack. The same crack that would kill 8 people 2 years later. But in 2021, it was smaller. Barely there, invisible, but enough. Wedding day. May 15th. The kitchen team arrived at the venue at 8 a.m. Setup, prep, cooking. The head chef, Ramon, briefed everyone. We have a severe shellfish allergy. Groom, life-threatening. Green utensils only for his plate. No exceptions. Everyone nodded. Understood. They set up the allergen-free station. Separate cutting board. Separate knives. Separate forks. Me. Green-coated. Safe. The menu was ambitious. Appetizer. Caprese salad. Main. Filet mignon with roasted vegetables. Dessert. Lemon tart. All shellfish-free. Verified. Double-checked. Safe. But the kitchen was also preparing food for everyone else. 180 guests. Some dishes had shellfish, shrimp cocktail appetizer, lobster risotto option, scallops. The allergen-free zone was supposed to be separate, completely isolated. But kitchens are chaotic, especially event kitchens. temporary setup, time pressure, miscommunication. At 2 p.m. during prep, a sous chef needed a fork. Quick, for tasting the lobster risotto. He grabbed the closest fork. Didn't check the color. Didn't read the label. Just grabbed. It was me. He tasted the risotto. Delicious. Rich. Lobster flavor. He put me back. Not in the allergen-free container. In the general utensil bin. Wrong place. Nobody noticed. 4 p.m. Plating for dinner service. The team was assembling plates. Filet mignon for Michael. The allergen-free plate. A line cook grabbed a fork from the general bin. Needed it for arranging the vegetables. Artistic presentation. He used me. Touched Michael's food. Touched the filet. Touched the asparagus. Touched the potatoes. Then put me on the plate as the dinner fork. Michael's fork. I'd been in the lobster risotto 2 hours earlier. Microscopic particles. Proteins. In my crack. The third tine. The crack they couldn't see. The crack I couldn't clean. Invisible contamination. On the allergen-free plate, 5:30 p.m. cocktail hour. Sarah and Michael were glowing. Happy. Surrounded by family and friends. Everyone said it was perfect. The venue. The weather. The flowers. Everything. Sarah kept checking on Michael. You okay? Having fun? He smiled. This is the best day of my life. She kissed him. Mine too. 6:30 p.m. Dinner service. Everyone sat. 180 guests, 15 tables. Michael and Sarah at the head table. Center of attention. Beautiful. The waiters brought out the appetizers. Caprese salad, fresh mozzarella, tomatoes, basil, balsamic. Michael ate. Delicious. No reaction. Safe. Sarah relaxed. Okay, food is good. No problems. 7:15 p.m. Main course. Filet mignon. The plates arrived, beautifully presented. Michael picked up his fork. Me, started eating. The filet was perfect. Medium rare. Tender. The vegetables were seasoned well. He was enjoying it. 3 bites in, he felt something. A tingling. In his mouth. His throat. He stopped. Put down the fork. Sarah noticed. Babe, you okay? He said, I don't know. My mouth feels weird. She looked at him. His face was flushing. Red. Michael? He touched his throat. I can't breathe right. Sarah stood up, panicking. Does anyone have an EpiPen? Michael has his. Someone get his jacket. Now. Michael's best man ran to get the EpiPen. Michael's breathing was getting worse, wheezing. His throat was swelling. Anaphylaxis. Sarah was crying. Hold on. You're okay. You're okay. The guests were staring, frozen. Scared. The best man returned. EpiPen. Sarah grabbed it, hands shaking. She'd never used one. Michael was turning pale. She jabbed it into his thigh. Pressed. Held. 10 seconds. Please work. Please. Michael gasped, breathing slightly better, but not enough. Someone called 911. 8 minutes away. Michael was conscious but struggling. His eyes were scared. Sarah held his hand. You're going to be fine, I promise. The ambulance is coming. Just breathe. The paramedics arrived, 7:31 p.m., 16 minutes after he took the first bite. They assessed, administered more epinephrine. Oxygen, loaded him onto a stretcher. Sarah climbed in with him. I'm coming with you. The ambulance left. Sirens. The wedding stopped. 180 guests sitting in silence. The music had stopped. The celebration was over. The bride and groom were gone. Sarah's mother was crying. The wedding coordinator didn't know what to do. Should we continue? Should we pack up? Someone said, let's wait, see if he's okay. They waited. Nobody ate, nobody talked. Just waited. 8:45 p.m. Sarah called her mother from the hospital. Michael's stable. He's okay. They're keeping him overnight for observation, but he's breathing normally. Severe allergic reaction. Her mother said how? We were so careful. Sarah said, I don't know. I don't know. They're investigating. But Mom, the wedding, is everyone still there? Her mother said yes. Waiting. Sarah said, tell them to go home. It's over. We can't. I can't celebrate. Not after this. Her mother said, okay. I'll tell them. I'm so sorry, honey. Sarah hung up, sat next to Michael's hospital bed, held his hand. He was sleeping. She was crying. Our wedding day. Our perfect day. Ruined. The investigation started immediately. The catering company, the health department, they tested everything. The food, the utensils, the surfaces. They found me. On Michael's plate. Still there. They tested me. Shellfish proteins. In the crack. The microscopic crack. The health department inspector showed Ramon. This fork, green-coated, allergen-free. Contaminated with lobster. How? Ramon had no answer. We were careful. We followed protocol. The inspector said, clearly not careful enough. This fork was used for lobster and then placed on the allergen-free plate. Ramon said that's impossible. We have separate everything. The inspector said I'm looking at the evidence. This is what happened. They traced my path. The sous chef who grabbed me for tasting. The line cook who used me for plating. 2 mistakes. 2 people who didn't check, didn't verify, didn't follow protocol. The sous chef was fired. The line cook was fired. Ramon resigned, took responsibility. The company was sued. Sarah and Michael sued for emotional distress. Negligence, ruined wedding. They settled. Undisclosed amount. But money doesn't fix a ruined wedding. Doesn't erase the memory of your husband nearly dying at the reception. Doesn't bring back the day you planned for 18 months. Sarah and Michael tried to move past it. They were married. Legally. The ceremony had happened. But the reception, the celebration, the joy, gone. Replaced by trauma. Michael developed anxiety. Severe. Around food. Around restaurants. Around weddings. Couldn't attend friends' weddings without panic attacks. Sarah felt guilt, even though it wasn't her fault. She'd chosen the caterer. She trusted them. And her husband almost died. Their first anniversary, May 2022, they didn't celebrate. Too painful. Reminder of what should have been the best day. Michael told a therapist, I can't separate the wedding from the anaphylaxis. They're the same memory. The happiest and the scariest moment of my life. Happening simultaneously. Sarah said we talk about renewing our vows. Having the celebration we should have had. But we can't. We're too afraid. What if something goes wrong again? So we just live with it. They sent me here. Item number 15. Not for killing 8 people at La Bella Vita in 2023. That came later. 2 years later. After the crack got worse. After I became more dangerous. But I was contaminated before that. Contaminated with the guilt of Sarah and Michael's wedding. May 15th, 2021. The day I turned joy into trauma. Celebration into survival. They lived, both of them. But the wedding they dreamed of died. And I did that. The microscopic crack. The cross-contamination. The 2 mistakes by 2 people who didn't check. I was the vector, the carrier. The thing that shouldn't have been there. And here's what keeps me anxious. What keeps me up. If that crack had been visible, they would have thrown me away. If those 2 people had checked, they would have caught it. If Michael's reaction had been worse, if the EpiPen hadn't worked, if the paramedics had been delayed, he could have died. At his own wedding. In front of 180 people. In front of his bride. I was that close to killing him. 2 years before I actually killed 8 people, I almost killed a groom at his wedding. And the only reason he survived is luck. Not protocol, not safety. Luck. That terrifies me. Because luck runs out. That was my second confession. Sarah Mitchell and Michael Torres, ages 28 and 31. Their wedding, May 15th, 2021. The wedding that became a medical emergency. The celebration that became a nightmare. They're alive. They're married. But they'll never have that day back. And every time they think about their wedding, they'll remember his throat closing. The ambulance, the hospital, not the joy, not the love, the fear. And I did that. So yes, I'm anxious. Because I know what I'm capable of. And I know it can always get worse. And 2 years later, it did. If this story made you think, hit the like button. Write in the comments. Would you renew your vows after something like this? And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to Spoony and Friends, because next time, Muggsy confesses what happened to the artist who trusted the wrong cup. See you in the next confession.